This video contains multiple reports, all of which were too short to warrant their own video. A Sussex PC has been given a written warning after a disciplinary hearing was told that he used police computer systems to access records relating to a woman that he had met during the course of his work. The IOPC investigated the claims and recommended misconduct action against the constable, whose name hasn't been given. The IOPC said its 7-month investigation followed a referral from Sussex Police in May 2020 and looked at allegations that the officer had formed an inappropriate relationship with a woman and failed to declare it to his superiors, although this allegation was not proven. The officer came into contact with the woman while investigating a theft she reported in 2017, according to the IOPC. The spokesperson added evidence we gathered indicated that he had accessed information relating to her on police computer systems in 2018, and 4 out of the 5 allegations were proven. The officer declined to provide an account for the IOPC investigation or to comment when interviewed under caution. IOPC Regional Director Graham Beasley said this officer breached Sussex Police's policy by accessing its computer systems for a non-policing purpose. Actions like this undermine the public's trust in police officers, who should know that it is entirely inappropriate to use police computer systems for personal reasons. During the investigation, the IOPC said it obtained and examined data from sources, including the officer's work and personal phones, his police radio and work email account. An audit was conducted on the man's access of police systems, and 2 witnesses were interviewed in relation to the allegation, according to the IOPC. So no dismissal, just a written warning. And didn't even say it was a final written warning. A Cheshire Police community support officer has been dismissed from the force after assaulting a woman. The PCSO, who, strangely enough, has not been named, attacked the victim whilst off duty in July 2020, and they were dismissed with immediate effect earlier this month following misconduct proceedings which were held in private due to the PCSOs being counted as members of staff rather than officers. But they will not face criminal charges despite an investigation, as the incident was only reported to the police in December 2020 and was therefore outside the 6-month prosecution time limit. The Cheshire Police spokesperson said this relates to an off-duty incident which involved a staff member in July 2020. The incident was not reported at the time, but Cheshire Police were made aware in December of that year. The matter was criminally investigated, but it was outside the 6-month prosecution time limit. The member of staff was dealt with under the managing performance procedure for police staff. As a result, they were dismissed after they were found to have breached the standards of professional behaviour relating to authority, respect and courtesy. An acting sergeant, Victoria Robb of Police Scotland, has gone on trial at Hamilton Sheriff Court accused of a data protection breach after accessing her own file. Robb is said to have illegally logged onto computers and accessed details of an investigation into claims that she was guilty of road traffic offences. Prosecutors claim that she unlawfully accessed a police database 4 times on April 17, 2019. When a police constable accesses data on a police computers, they must input their ID number for audit purposes. Police Scotland Information Manager Alice Stewart told the court that Robb's ID number was used 4 times in one day to access her own police file. She said a computer network called Storm is a kind of tasking system that police officers would use to help investigate crimes containing details of witnesses, locations and allegations. Miss Stewart said everything on the system was covered by data protection laws and would have been gathered for a single purpose, gathered for investigative purposes or prevention of crime, and that it would include the details of the person who called in to report an incident or the victim, which should give you all an idea as to why she wanted to check her own file. When asked by prosecutor Tony Hicks if she believed Acting Sergeant Robb accessing the Storm incident and viewing it constitutes a breach of the data protection legislation, Miss Stewart replied, "It would, in my opinion, yes. There was no policing purpose that was identified." The trial continues in March, and I will update you when more information becomes available. 2 Thames Valley PCs face their misconduct hearing next week, accused of failing to ensure a suspected drug dealer was handcuffed properly or supervised, leaving him able to escape. The detainee was receiving treatment at Horton General Hospital in Banbury last April when he was able to do a runner. PC Lydia Jackson and PC Robert Lawton are accused of failing to properly detain the suspected drug dealer. The two are accused of breaching the police standards of professional behaviour, which, if proven, would amount to gross misconduct. Thames Valley Police said on the evening of 14th of April 2021 the officers were allocated the task of escorting Mr A to the Horton General Hospital after he complained of sustaining injuries following his arrest. Mr A was placed in handcuffs, and it is alleged that the officers failed to ensure that he was handcuffed properly while at the Horton General Hospital. It is alleged that the officers failed to closely supervise Mr A, and he absconded from officers. PC Lawton is also alleged to have referred to a colleague and a senior officer in a derogatory manner on a training day in June 2021. The officer's misconduct hearing will take place at Thames Valley Police Kidlington headquarters on February the 28th. Devon and Cornwall PC Carl Farrar has been dismissed without notice for gross misconduct after a 3-day hearing. It was alleged that Farrar had breached the standards of professional behaviour concerning honesty and integrity, duties and responsibilities, authority, respect and courtesy, orders and instructions, and confidentiality. It has been alleged that following his attendance at a domestic incident in March 2020, the officer failed to follow procedures to complete the necessary processes. It was further alleged that he had been untruthful about the recording of the incident on the police log and in a police statement in April 2020. It was also alleged that in March 2020, PC Farrar accessed information about a member of the public from a policing system whilst at home and off duty, and that in September 2020, whilst on restricted duties, the officer accessed a police log and shared personal information about an officer injured on duty with other officers in a WhatsApp group. The panel concluded that all allegations were proven and that PC Farrar had breached the standards of behaviours expected of an officer. The decision of the panel was that he would be dismissed without notice, and Thursday the 3rd of February was his final day. Yes, it's about 3 weeks ago, but sometimes these reports are not given by the police forces for some time after the event. Head of Professional Standards, Detective Superintendent Paul Kessel, said, "We all expect our police officers and staff to uphold their standards of behaviour at all times, both on and off duty, and this officer has failed to do so on multiple occasions. His actions undermined the trust of the public and his colleagues, and such behaviours will not be tolerated by Devon and Cornwall Police. The officer's actions fell below the standards expected, and dismissal without notice was the right and proper outcome." ex-PC Farrar has also been added to the College of Policing's barred list. 53-year-old Rachael Beale, a member of police staff from Wiltshire Police, has pleaded guilty to misconduct after beginning an inappropriate relationship with a man that she was supervising while she worked in offender management of the force's sexual or violent offenders unit. I mean, that's some kink she's got going on there. The charge relates to a period of time between February and September 2020. Beale was arrested in September 2020 when Wiltshire Police were informed of the relationship and was suspended from duty. The arrest sparked an investigation by the IOPC. Appearing at Bristol Crown Court on Monday the 21st of February, Beale entered a guilty plea and was released on bail ahead of sentencing on March the 30th. Following a guilty plea, Wiltshire Police will now perform its own investigation into gross misconduct. Although personally I think if a court or the defendant puts a guilty verdict or plea, then there should be no need for a costly and time-consuming misconduct hearing. They should be fired without notice based on the facts of the verdict or plea. Police Chief Constable Paul Mills said, "Upon becoming aware of these matters, Ms Beale was arrested and immediately suspended from duty. Following today's guilty plea, we will now immediately commence internal misconduct proceedings and will make a full public statement when these processes are complete and sentencing takes place." A West Yorkshire police officer has been charged with offences relating to the making and possessing of indecent and extreme images. PC Alan Dudzinski of Leeds District has been charged with 3 counts of making indecent images of children and 1 count of possession of extreme pornography. The 20-year-old is due to appear at Leeds Magistrates Court on March the 1st. He was arrested in May 2021 and has been suspended from duty since that time. A former PCSO from Humberside Police has been charged following an investigation into claims that he abused his position for sexual purposes. Simon Smith, 48-year-old Simon Smith, was charged after inquiry by Humberside Police and the Independent Office of Police Conduct. Mr Smith, who was based in Goole, faces 3 counts of misconduct in a public office and one of attempting to pervert a course of justice. He was due to appear before Hull Magistrates Court yesterday, but I have not yet received any information on the outcome. Thank you so much to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.